The Business on balls.co.za. Weekdays 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Brought to you by FNB Business Banking.
We raised the point about the reference to terms and conditions apply, and I'm speaking specifically here about banner advertising or a mobile SMS message. And inevitably, it's assumed that message is directed towards a phone that enables a smartphone, and the user receives the message, and if they do want to respond, they can click on terms and conditions apply, and it'll take them somewhere where there's some kind of explanation, whether it's a competition or whether it's a special offer. And the person we were speaking to suggested that they don't believe that's going to be adequate going forward.
The challenge is these terms and conditions have a lot of information to convey. You need to deal with a whole range of issues, and technically, if you have, so let's take a website. It's a little bit easier. So you have a website. You arrive at a website. There are terms and conditions on the website. As long as there's certain basic conditions are met, you are essentially deemed to have read it. So you have the classic thing. You sign up for Facebook or Twitter, what have you. I mean, how many people actually read it? And more often than not, the only people who read it might be lawyers like me, because we have this thing about terms and conditions.
Yes.
But for the most part, people don't. But it doesn't mean that you're not bound by them. That there are some rules around it locally, like depends on how you communicate them and what have you. The challenge with mobile is that even though you would technically be bound by terms and conditions, the form factor itself makes it really difficult to get into it. So there's this plain language requirement in the Consumer Protection Act.
Yep.
I don't believe that it stops just at the language itself. It's also a usability thing. If you've got pages and pages and pages of terms and conditions that somebody is supposed to read on a feature
tiny
phone,
screen, exactly.
I think that it's definitely a usability challenge. I don't know what the answer is necessarily. There are a couple of options. I mean, one option you can draw from, there are a range of licenses called Creative Commons licenses. I don't know if you're familiar with
yes,
those.
absolutely.
Yep.
So with CC licenses, you have different versions. There are three main versions. The one version is a human readable version, which is basically a summary. Then you've got what they call the legal code. They actually call it the legal code, which is the full-on license text. And there's also a machine-readable one for programmatic stuff with browsers and whatever else. So one option on a mobile device might be, create a more user-friendly summary, which then ties into the full-on text.
The Business. Weekdays 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on balls.co.za. Brought to you by FNB Business Banking.